Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad and I am here with Jen Wiemelt. Jen is one of the founders of the Ulmus Academy, right? And the Ulmus Academy, if I get this right, is an alternative to public and private education in Quincy, Illinois, right?
Right. It's not going to have a religious back to it.
Okay. Or
so
government
we're not going to be teaching any doctrine for any specific faith. We're not going to take any government money. It's really going to be about a partnership between teachers, students, and parents.
Okay. So last week, I talked to Ron Kinscherf, and he had gone to one of your meetings. I unfortunately was not able to go, but he gave us kind of a high-level look at what some fundamental differences were between, I guess, what I'm used to, public, and what some people are used to, private education. Kind of some high-hitting differences. You want to give us a quick rundown of those?
Yeah, so Ulmus is going to use kind of a hybrid model of classical curricula. So classical curricula is based off of an idea called the trivium, where children are kind of broken down into groups called grammar, logic or dialectic, rhetoric. So grammar school is your K through 5, logic, dialectic is 6 through 8, so your junior high kids, rhetoric is your high school, so your 9 through 12. The interesting or appealing fact about this model is that it plays to children's the natural ways that they learn. Okay. So, small children, they learn through rhymes and songs and memorization and pictures. They're very imaginative. So we're going to play on that. We're going to really talk about those fundamentals. We're going to really talk about grammar. We're going to get our math facts in because that way it can become second nature to them. Sure. So, once they have that muscle memory in, then we're going to move on to logic class. Well, what naturally happens with junior high students? They ask you why. Right. How. Okay.
Do they wait that long? I don't think mine did, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, some kids do.
Okay.
But we're going to play on that, right?
Sure.
We want to answer those questions. An interesting fact, even with my daughter, when we're reading through stuff, she says, well, why did they do that, Mom? Oh, so we have a why notebook. Right. Where we just keep, hey, what were the questions? So we can come back to those. Yeah. When we answer those and we give them the logic or the explanation behind, now they can take the fundamentals from grammar school and they start to really form their opinion off of logic and they start to practice writing that down, which springboards into rhetoric, right? So now you got the fundamentals of grammar school, you know how to write, you got it. Now you've learned how to dive into why and how we do what we do. Now we're going to learn how to eloquently and persuasively write and speak to convince our audience of why we think what we think.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know I'm speaking to people just kind of off the cuff. There has been a lot of interest from people that I have spoken to. How are you gauging, kind of what's the overall vibe, I guess, first of all, and then how are you gauging the interest in the community, and is it just local? Is it surrounding? How are you?
So it's been a ride, a wonderful, unifying ride over the last 9 days. Yeah. But we have gotten so much positive feedback from everybody. Parents are loving this. We have about 30 people that have committed through letters of intent. There's a letter of intent on our website at ulmusacademy.com. And once they kind of look into it, now we've fielded a lot of questions too, but as we're answering them, people are excited about it. And I think they're excited about it because it's something everybody can get behind. We all love our kids. We all want them to be educated well. We all want them to be able to critically think so that they can be the ones that solve some of our socioeconomic problems in the future. Right. So we've had a lot of interest from teachers saying, I work full time somewhere else, but I would be willing to give advice or sit on a committee for this. We had 5 resumes come in from teachers, but oh my gosh, keep them coming. We love all these minds. We have fantastic minds in our community. We've had an opportunity to speak to headmasters that run classical schools in other areas across the United States, which is really a phenomenal experience.
I'm sure. Very eye-opening.
But it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience.
Good. Okay, so one of the questions I had, and I'm sure I'm not alone, is I am very intrigued by the idea and would maybe kind of like to wait a little bit longer to see kind of what changes are coming with public schools, see where The Ulmus Academy is before the start of the year. So if I'm interested, but I'm not 100% sure if I am dedicating my kids to the Ulmus Academy, is there a process that you would suggest people go through? Okay.
So first of all, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can reach us by email at info@ulmusacademy.com.
Okay.
Any questions that you have, if you know about it, you've watched the presentation that's on our Facebook page, that's on our website, and like you just said, I'm interested, I want to do the wait and see. You can still send your child's information to us via email, and that way we can kind of know, all right, these are kind of like our on deck or you know, maybes. But that at least gives us the information that was the reason we presented it when we did, when it wasn't really a finished product, because at some point we have to present this to the community and say, is this even something you guys want?
Right, exactly.
As we're getting that feedback, now we can really start to look at some of the fixed costs and the fixed items that we need. The big one is a brick and mortar building.
Sure. So is that something that's in the works, or are you waiting, or?
We are exploring a lot of different options. We certainly, I mean, just like our appeal on Monday night, if anybody in the community has a building they're not using that we could renovate to use for our school, please reach out, talk to us, let us know. This is something we want to build as a community, even if it's not something you want to be directly involved in, but you say, hey, you know, it is important that we have control over what our kids are being taught locally. And I think it unifies the community because it gives everybody a space to be. We have our public schools, we have private Christian schools, private Catholic schools. We need something that's just going to be philosophically, classically based. So everybody can go. We're not teaching any doctrine. You can use the skills that these kids learn, the values that they learn, to springboard and teach them whatever you want at home.
Sure. So, but the foundation is basically, you know, we want parents, teachers, community involvement, not so much political, not so much religion, not, you know, I mean, which. You know, there are some people who are like, okay, well, what about religion? What about sports? What about things that we have at our disposal with public or private schools, but we may not have with Ulmus Academy? So,
so let me speak on that, because that's kind of an exciting thing about Ulmus too. So we do have a full-time option, just a full day like traditional school. We also have a hybrid option. So, you know, we are not naive to the fact that we're not going to be able to provide everything that QPS has set up already, and why would we want to? They have a good thing going. So we're going to do a hybrid model where, hey, maybe I want my child to learn history, literature, and science this way, but I would still like them to play sports. QPS has always been amazing at partnering with homeschool families to let children take electives, you know, one elective here, one elective there. I know if you take half a day, you can still participate in sports, and I think that's the same with the music program. If we have a lot of interest expressed in that program, we will go meet with QPS's board and say, okay, it's a little different than the homeschool setup, so how can we partner with you? You know, you guys have been amazing at partnering so far. How do we take this to the next step to partner with you for this?
Awesome. That's really interesting. That's one thing I think a lot of people had questions on. Another thing, which I know we touched on a little bit when I talked about this with Ron Kinshirf, but transportation. I know that even public schools are struggling with some transportation due to, you know, staffing and whatever. But one of the interesting things that was brought up is kind of carpooling. So you have.
So we had some parents reach out to us, and of course there's a concern because if children have to be, and especially this first year, we may not have a single brick and mortar building. We may be looking at doing like a pod system where, you know, each pre-grammar class is in one building, grammar classes in another. Okay, well, therefore we need to stair step our start times so the parents have time to get them there. If you have to be at work at 8 o'clock and your child normally rides the bus to school, okay, how does that work? So, you know, our solution, and some of the parents have even offered this solution, can we do like a meet and greet a couple of nights where we can meet other parents and set up like a carpool situation, because we're not going to be able to provide that transportation as a school. That doesn't mean that we can't work together as a community and connect people that can help each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. So aside from transportation and kind of the brick and mortar, any other big hitting concerns that you've heard from parents that you feel like you have answers to, or that you are working towards, or anything that maybe...
One of the other big challenges was food. You know, we're not going to be able to staff and have a cafeteria right off the bat. Certainly that is something that we're definitely working toward. You know, but we have had parents say, well, what if I forget? Okay, not a big deal. We will have some extra food.
Sure.
There.
They're not going to go
No
hungry.
child is going to go hungry.
Right,
no.
right.
So that was one of the issues. The other issue, we've had a lot of parents say, well, I would like to see the exact curricula that we're using. So we are meeting with our teachers and trying to get that list compiled. We want to be totally transparent with our parents.
Yeah.
You know, I believe even if we don't totally agree on everything, right? But to respect each other enough to say, here's what it is, here's why we chose this, and here's why we think it works together. I think that we're starting to unify again around this message.
Right,
So.
which is, I think, something that a lot of parents, including myself, and this is nothing to do with teachers, God bless our teachers, but I feel like some of the disconnect is starting to affect not only parents, but kids. And I mean, I'm all for, you know, an alternate solution. I think overall, everyone I've talked to has received this very positively, and I'm sure, you know, from what you're saying, you're feeling kind of the same thing. As far as one of the other questions I had, so you were talking about pods, and so maybe like a K through 3, right? In like one setting, if you will.
Right.
So one of the things Ron Kinshirf and I talked about was that the hope was maybe to use like that environment to help maybe bring kids up even faster through.
Yeah, so let me speak on that.
Okay.
So we're going to do, it's called a schoolhouse approach or mixed classroom approach.
Okay.
So K through 2nd grade students will be in the same class. So we've done a ton of research. We've talked to several teachers, some not even from around here, that have told us that there's a lot of benefit to this.
Right.
So kindergartners come in, they look up, I mean, a 2nd grader, that's a whole nother level for them, right? So they look up and they see these 2nd graders mastering different things that they want to master themselves. So, you know, just through their curiosity, they're going to mimic that 2nd grader's behavior. So there's a lot of benefits to the younger students. There's a benefit to the older students too. So when a 2nd grader has to explain a concept to a kindergartner, it helps concrete. That's the final stage of learning, right? When you can explain it back and teach someone else. And so there's a lot of benefit to the older kids too. And I think the other thing that it does, I think, and even statistically speaking, is it takes us out of this whole just peer mindset.
Right.
And says, okay, I see the struggles across these 3. Maybe there's a child that's shy and needs a little bit more help, right? Well, you're practicing empathy.
Right.
When you go and say, as the older student, you know, hey, can I help you with that?
Yeah.
You know, are you struggling with it? This is how I learned it.
Right.
So there's just some benefits. One of the big challenges with mixed classrooms is teachers' time, right? The time management on that teacher. And so, you know, we're really working to get teachers' aides in there so that, you know, we have someone in charge that wrote the lesson plan, but here's some hands on deck to help learn, help teach it.
So speaking to that, how big class size? What is your kind of goal there? Because I know that that's a concern with a lot of parents as well.
Right. So we're wanting to stay around 15. I think that's the manageable class size. Now, that being said, so this is another question that was asked. So 15 in K through 3?
Right.
Or 15? Okay, so we are talking about 15 in each grade level.
Okay.
Potentially.
Sure.
Right, as we grow.
Okay.
Certainly on the onset, you know, we're not most likely going to see those numbers,
right.
but hopefully we do. I would love that.
Yeah.
But this is where the teacher's aide come in. The teacher's writing the lesson plan. You know, she's handing this out to the teacher's aide. She can teach the general concept, and then they can break off to say, okay, kindergartners, this is the exercise I want you to do with this information. First graders, this is the exercise I want you to do with this information. And they will still break off in other things. Math is certainly one of them. You know, kindergartners do different math than 2nd graders. So there will be things that they break off to do, and then there'll be things that they do together.
Awesome. Very cool. So just a couple, just real quick questions. So it's you, Jen Wiemelt, and the other founder is
Michelle McQueen.
Yep. And then you have basically a board of, is it?
Right now we have a committee. We're working on our bylaws to have everything legal, and then we will elect our board.
Okay.
So right now it's a committee of 9, including Michelle and I. We are parents, a couple teachers that have certainly come in to give us their advice, and I mean, once this went public, we just have an outpouring of people saying, I want to help too. So,
that's awesome.
I mean, mine's certainly much greater than mine are getting involved and saying, we're excited about it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I will say, I may not have the greatest mind, but I'm super excited about this. I think it's it's an amazing alternative, and I think, you know, it shows a lot of not only hard work, but give a damn, you know, from parents and the community that is really just interested in our kids and the support and education they're receiving. And I couldn't be more proud of you guys. I really give you guys a lot of kudos.
One of the things that we're really excited about is we're looking into partnering with local organizations to set up scholarship funds. We don't want anyone to not be able to experience this.
That's a good point, yeah.
Simply because, you know, money's tight right now. Money's tight with a lot of people right now.
Sure.
So, you know, we are looking at different options to build that scholarship fund up, keep that money local, obviously, for our students, so that everybody has an opportunity to experience this. The statistics of what this does, even when you are comparing apples to apples, one of the pushbacks we kind of get, or perspectives we kind of get, is, of course, kids in private schools do better,
right?
You know, for many different reasons. But when you look at some side-by-side examples, I mean, the scoring and the response from these kids, the relationships they build with their teachers is just exciting.
Just phenomenal.
It is.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
That's great. Well, I can't wait to see what you guys do. This is exciting. So, well, if you have any more questions or you need more information, you can reach out to Jen, or what was the other one?
Michelle.
Or you can go to info@ulmusacademy.com. Is that right?
That's our email.
Okay, that's the email.
And our website is ulmusacademy.com.
Okay. And they have a contact, they have all their contact information there. And you can also find information, calendars, all kinds of stuff there. So I encourage you to check it out if you're interested. And we'll probably have more on this if I'm guessing, right?
Awesome.
Yes. Thanks for being here. Coming up, Bob Goff talks with Blessing Health System CEO Maureen Kahn about their decision to appeal the Illinois State Board permit to allow QMG to build its own hospital. Stay tuned. A great night's sleep starts at Harvey's Furniture. Harvey's is your home for industry-leading handcrafted mattresses from Bemco, Spring Air, and Chatham & Wells. Twin, full, queen, and king, we have a full selection of in-stock mattresses to fit your needs. No waiting, get it today, and as always, free delivery. You deserve a better night's sleep. Harvey's Furniture, our home, your home.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
My guest today is Maureen Kahn, the CEO of Blessing Health System. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. It's been a few months since I've seen you.
Yeah, we moved to a different room.
I know.
Some more lights. So yeah, same old chairs though. So, but Harvey's we've gotten some nice ones. We might have to get some more nice ones. So, well, thanks for stopping by. One of the things that you wanted to discuss today, a little bit of breaking news on the show. June 1st was the deadline for you to appeal the board permit for Quincy Medical Group's small room hospital as well as birth center over at the Quincy Town Center, and you are appealing part of that, you're saying?
Correct. We are filing an appeal for the small format hospital. We are not appealing the birth center that they have received a permit for. And the Board of Trustees has decided that it's important for them to appeal the process to make sure that everything that was followed should have been followed. And so that's what they're looking at, and we'll go through that appeal process.
And is there a timeline on this where you will get a decision?
We haven't gotten that yet. The state will give us a timeline. It should be relatively quickly because it's not a process that involves calling people forward to testify or new witnesses. They look at everything that was garnered during the process. So everything that's on the record is already there,
Sure.
So it's not new information. They just go through and make sure that the process was followed the way it should be. And then a judge will rule his opinion.
And this is an appeal, but it is not a stay, correct?
That is correct. It is not a stay on the process. So everything still moves forward.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that breaks down. I'm sure we'll hear more from that in the future. But again, you had stated that this is just an appeal of the process, but still again kind of give the
reason behind it,
right? Yeah, the blessing reason behind the appeal overall,
well,
philosophically, I guess.
I think the reason behind it, as the board went through their processes, was thinking about this will eliminate the sole community hospital status for Blessing. And that is important to the board as it helps support a lot of the programs that we provide at the facility. And they felt they didn't want to just not step forward and do something on that behalf. So that was one of the big reasons why they took that action. Also, this type of implementation of a new small format hospital has implications throughout the state. Because currently, right now, the rules in the state of Illinois to build a new hospital is you have to have at minimum 100 beds. And so it's not in keeping with the state's own rules. Okay. And so they felt we needed to make sure we were following the rules of the state.
Okay.
So I think it was a precedent-setting issue, and it was also for the Soul Community Hospital. And that benefit helps us do things like, you know, the trauma center and different programs that we offer, whether it's that or behavioral health or the education of healthcare workers that support the health system.
All right. Well, again, thanks for letting us sharing that information with us, and again, we'll follow up as the state moves forward. Then. So.
Quincy Warehouse Bargains is your Quincy home improvement store. It's the only store of its kind in the Quincy area. We offer flooring, mattresses, area rugs, dining sets, couches, appliances, and much more. And have more products to come so we can better serve the Quincy and tri-state community. Our staff is ready to help you find what you need to make your house a home. Quincy Warehouse Bargains, 4100 North 24th Street, Quincy.
Welcome back. On Friday's Daily Muddy, we're going to get your summer calendar out and preview German Fest, the Quincy Grand Prix, and the month of church picnics. Thanks for watching the Daily Muddy.